Qualifying for a mortgage is already stressful enough. But if you are somebody who is receiving alimony or child support and you're trying to qualify for a loan, that adds an extra layer of complexity. And we're going to try to unpack that for you today. And we're going to try to unravel that for two reasons. So, one reason, if you're talking with an inexperienced or lazy loan officer that doesn't understand the guidelines, I'm going to help you to identify that very, very quickly. The second part of this is if you're just doing your homework, I'm going to help you avoid a lot of headache and confusion by telling you the answers up front. If you served in the military or if you are eligible for VA benefits, and you receive child support or alimony, that's what this video is about. I am going to share with you how to use that child support and alimony, what the underwriter is going to look for to determine whether or not you can use that income to qualify for a mortgage loan. So essentially, when we're talking about calculating income, that's not from a job there or not from an employer, there's few things that the underwriter is looking at that we're going to cover today. They're going to look at a continuation of receipt. So this is very similar to if you're verifying your employment. We're going to do what's called a verification of employment to see if your employer likes you and if there's a likelihood that you're going to continue to work for that employer. That if you're going to continue to work for that employer moving forward, if the likelihood is good. So we need to prove that a continuation of receipt, that you're going to continue to receive this. We also need to show a history of receipt that you've been receiving alimony and child support for a period of time. And then we're going to talk about how we calculate that income and how that income calculation can help us qualify for that mortgage. So let's start with the continuance. So VA is going to require that there's 3 years of continuance from the closing date. So if you can't document the 3 year continuance, then the underwriter is going to determine whether it's reasonable to determine whether or not we can use any of that income to offset some of your short-term obligations. Now, this is a little bit different. Well, actually, this is a lot different from Fannie, Freddie, or FHA. So if you don't have the 3 years, you may not necessarily be able to use that income, the income to qualify, but you can use it to offset some of your debt obligations, which may also help. So determining continuation. So you want to see whether or not you want to determine whether or not the payment is received as pursuant to a written or a court ordered decree. So if in your divorce decree it states that you're going to be receiving alimony for this period of time, or you're going to be receiving child support for this period of time, that's what we're looking for, because we need to determine continuation for 3 years. Now that gets a little bit more challenging with child support, or actually it gets less challenging with child support, because child support is usually tied to their age. In the divorce decree, it'll typically say you're going to receive this income until the child hits 18 years old or 20 years old or whatever it is. So depending on what their current ages are now, that's what they're going to look at. So again, VA is a lot more flexible. So if you don't quite meet one of this criteria, you still want to check with the underwriter and check with your loan officer, because a good loan officer knows how to prepare this and knows how to present this to the underwriter in order to get exceptions approved or look for alternative ways to determine continuation so that you can use that income. The next thing you have to do is you have to show a history of receipt. Now, a history of receipt is simply showing that you've received this income. So You can do this several ways. You can show proof of deposits on bank statements for 3 months, and you can show the front page of the divorce decree stating that there's going to be the 3 years of continuance. Again, if you did not get legally divorced or separated, it doesn't mean you can't do this. It's just going to be a little bit more difficult to establish the continuance for 3 years and the history of receipt. If you do not have legal documentation, the underwriter or the loan officer can work with the underwriter. They can work with the VA through the RLC, the Regional Loan Center, and they can determine if there are any compensating factors that or alternative types of documentation that will allow you to use this income to qualify. Now, the calculation of this income is pretty simple. It's the same as all the other programs. Child support and alimony is typically not taxable for the recipient of the alimony and the child support of the payments. So you want to check with your CPA and determine whether your alimony and child support are tax deductible. If they are not, or not tax deductible, if they are taxable. If they are not taxable, then you can gross them up, and you gross them up by 25%. So you take the total amount of support that you're receiving multiplied by 125%. So that means it's 125% of what you receive because there are no taxes taken out of it. Super, super important, especially because of the flexibility with the VA loan. Yes, we have to document these things, and we're looking for a history of receipt, documentation showing that it's going to continue, and if there are any exceptions to that, don't give up, because the VA is very, very flexible. But it's important that you work with a loan officer or a mortgage professional that is very, very experienced with VA loans. And they're just experienced as a loan officer, because what they're going to do is they're going to research the guidelines. They're going to call the RLC. They're going to consult the underwriter, and they're going to try to navigate through if you have any of these criteria that is not really easy to prove or document or show what your particular situation is. So an experienced loan officer is going to know how to do this with VA, and they're not going to take no for an answer. If you're watching this and you do not have a loan officer that you know, like, and trust yet, this is really easy. You can go to findmywayhome.com. Now, there's a few ways. You can actually ask your question below in the comments, and I'm going to answer any questions and point you in the right direction. You can also go to findmywayhome.com. There's a link here in the description if you're watching this on the YouTube channel. You can go to findmywayhome.com, and there's a place there where you can tell me what your main question or concern is about qualifying for a mortgage, and I'll match you with a mortgage professional on our network that has VA experience that can help you. The other option is you can go to findmywayhome.com, scroll to the bottom of the homepage. There's a state directory, and you can choose the state, find a loan officer in the state that you live in or that you're buying in, and you can reach out to them, and they can help you that way. So I hope this was helpful. I know this can be challenging. And having gone through a divorce, and especially with kids, is difficult. So that's the reason I want to put these videos out, is because I want everybody to have an opportunity to find a mortgage professional that can navigate the complexities sometimes of these underwriting guidelines and help make sure that you're getting good advice from a professional that's accurate, that's going to give you the best chance of becoming a homeowner. So I hope this was helpful. Again, I can't cover everything in these videos. I can't cover every single scenario. And quite frankly, the beauty of working with a mortgage professional with years and years of experience is you can run anything by us and we will find the answer. And again, we don't like to say no, but we may tell you not now. And here are the things that you need to do moving forward. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out either here or on the website, and any of our experts on the findmywayhome.com expert network will be able to help you. So that's it. Congratulations on your journey to home ownership. I hope this was helpful, and we'll see you next time.